are you? And you want to dive deeper into virtual assistants some more, right? It's something that you've been talking about, helping people find the right virtual assistants, but you're learning more and more. There's a huge need.
Oh, huge need, Neil. I've had so many conversations over the last 2 weeks about virtual assistants and the work that they do and the support they give. It's game-changing stuff for businesses.
All right, so let's just dive deeper into that whole game now. Go ahead.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
when a company needs a VA, they find themselves maybe doing too many things on their own. Maybe their hands are too full and they are finding that they're falling behind because they're like for a salesperson, for example, they're putting too much time into presentation setup, they're putting too much time into getting appointments and things on their calendar. And instead, they should be out trying to sell. The death knell of a sales career is not being in front of potential clients. So a VA actually creates opportunities for people in business of all kinds, but whether they're salespeople or they're it could be a lawyer, it could be an accountant, it could be a podcast host, right? A VA is, I mean, we're just talking about stuff, right? A VA is somebody that can come in and can try to get appointments in your calendar. They can do market research. They can make sure that you're set up properly, your social media is properly managed, and things are being posted. They can help with content creation, copywriting stuff. And, there are things that you can use a VA for that you don't have to then spend time on your own to be able to make sure that that stuff happens. And we get so caught up in feeling like we have to manage our own content, manage our own activities, manage our own schedules, manage our own calendars. When we let go and delegate properly to a VA who can effectively help us take better control of our lives and our business, it's transformative for our businesses.
And I think it's the first mode before scaling is a VA because you want to free yourself up to bring more sales to hire other people in the organization. But a VA is somebody, once you create the proper SOP and have the right trusted person, it is a game changer. I mean, I've utilized my team in so many ways to make my life easier. Ultimately, you have to look at what is the next step in your business, and a virtual assistant is a great test because is it going to free you up to do the most important things?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Having the trusted person, I think you hit the nail on the head. Somebody that you can count on to not only be there, but you can trust the quality of their work and you can trust them with the information that you need them to manage. When you have that trusted resource at your disposal, it changes everything about how you're able to successfully conduct your business. And it really frees you up and allows you to focus on what you do best, which is the whole point.
It is definitely the point. And then it's the cost becomes an issue. A lot of solopreneurs and small business owners, when they try to bring a team on, cash flow is one of the biggest issues. It's the one where you love to keep paying, but then you're not seeing a bottom line of increased sales. You're not seeing a bottom line in specific things. Scott, and it's because you're spending so much time with your team. What do you think is the thing that's necessary to make sure that you don't go through that stuff so that when you hire people, you're working more? That's why I guess a virtual assistant first is very important because that virtual assistant is going to organize you better. It's going to keep you more in place before you're looking at all these other places to fill.
Yeah, no, that's true. So one of the first places you want to go, especially if you're a smaller organization, is you need to get help. And the cheapest, most cost-effective, and most efficient way to do that these days is most likely a virtual assistant, a VA. And they bring so much value because they allow you to focus on the core business that you're focused on. And I'll be honest with you, Neil, the main part of my business is helping to build teams for people, helping to get those teams properly set up and structured and managed, teams that you can trust, teams that you can count on, and teams that you know are going to perform for you every time and time again, day in and day out. Well, for the right size business, that's going to be a larger team. But for a smaller business, a VA is absolutely the right solution. And even for, a business that isn't tiny, maybe not a solopreneur or an entrepreneur, even if there's a handful of people in that company, having somebody else that you can bring in that's affordable, that's cost effective, that you can trust, that's going to manage your work well, that's going to, again, free you up to allow you to be successful, to do what you do best. That's the key.
It's totally the key. And if you don't do it, forget about it. It's a game changer. You have to do it. And if you don't, and I think a lot of times that's where someone like you would come in and evaluate things. Okay, I don't know if I can afford a virtual assistant and hire you, Scott. You kind of audit them before that process begins to make sure that they have you in their budget and they see how that savings is going to help the business bigger, longer term for them.
Yeah, I do. That's the really the first step is, getting on a call and talking about what they're looking for and where they're at. So for me to be able to help somebody as the best I can and to be effective with them and make an efficient use of their time, I have to understand the nature of what they're trying to accomplish, what their goal is, what their business focus is, and a little bit about what their budget is so that I can help set them up with the best solution for them. I can almost guarantee 100% that I have a solution that will work for just about anybody. But that first step is that assessment, that audit to make sure that I understand where they're at, that they understand where they're at. And then we can begin to move forward and help make things happen for them in ways that they may not have thought possible. In fact, Neil, I guarantee you, they never thought it would be possible for them to have the success and the bandwidth and the time back in their day that they couldn't even possibly envision today without that VA.
And I'm going to give you the biggest problem to finish up this VA podcast on the Akata Consulting podcast. What if it's not the right fit? That's why hire Scott, because if that VA is not the fit, they're eating up your time. They don't understand the business. They don't have the skill sets to be able to be a VA for you. That's where you come in and make sure that it's the right fit for each company.
That's absolutely true. And we try to make sure that the vetting is done up front and that the matching is done up front and that whoever you're working with is somebody that you feel confident in when the relationship kicks off. But the truth of the matter is that sometimes things just take time. Like in any job, any hire that you make with somebody, every now and again, somebody's not quite the right fit. So in that situation, we take a look at what's going well, what's not going well. Is it a training issue? Is it a communication issue? Is it something that we can easily remedy with a little bit of focus in this area or that area? Or do we have to make a switch? And if we have to make a switch, we, take a step back, refocus, find exactly again who you need, and we make the switch. But you never have to suffer through somebody that isn't really helping you or giving you what you need. And that's why you bring me in to make sure that one, you can avoid that situation 99% of the time. And in the 1% of the time that it's going to be an issue, we take quick action to make sure that it doesn't stay an issue.
Best place, Scott, people can go.
My website, akataconsulting.com, and they can find me on LinkedIn.
All right. Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Neil.
All right. You're listening to the special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show.